Welcome back, everyone. NFL playoffs are here. Wild card weekend is upon us. So much exciting football this weekend for the first weekend in the NFL playoffs. Here on the Between the Hashes podcast, we're going to be previewing the 6 games that are on this weekend's slate. There's some great ones to look forward to, but as always, joined by Braden Bacon, Brock Bierman, and myself, Dawson Livingston. Fellas, we always start off every episode asking how everyone's doing, but I know we kind of recapped this on the previous episode that's probably already out by now, our NFL head coaches recap.
I think it has been posted. I checked.
Okay.
Yep.
But yeah, fellas, how are we doing?
I'm doing just as good as I was yesterday, man. Some crazy news happened today, though, that we will get into that definitely threw a wrench into our plans for this episode. But we're not going to not talk about it, I guess.
What are you talking about?
But you'll see what I mean when we get into it. How about that?
Yeah. Brock, how about you? How are you doing?
I am doing as well as you can really do on a Tuesday after doing an entire hour and 55-minute episode reacting and covering the Black Monday coaching changes that have happened, just to be told less than an hour before we started recording here. We're recording right now 5:10 Central Time, January 6th. And I think about 45 minutes before that, we got some huge news that if you listen to the last episode that we literally just posted this week,
yeah,
you would
today
know
as we're recording.
Yeah, released today. So the fact that we are actually recording right now, though, couldn't have worked better, just because, like, if we wouldn't have done another episode, who knows if we would have even gotten to this breaking news story that we're probably going to hit on.
Yeah, and we're just going to jump right into the breaking news. John Harbaugh is out as the Ravens head coach after 18 seasons with the Baltimore Ravens, leading them to a Super Bowl, one-time NFL head coach of the year. Pretty good coach, 180 wins to 113 losses with the 61 winning percentage over his course with the Baltimore Ravens. I want to get your guys' thoughts on the firing. Do you guys agree with the firing? I know we've touched on this potentially happening within the last 5 to 6 weeks, but I want to get you guys' overall thoughts on this move of the Ravens moving on from John Harbaugh.
I don't think it. I can't say I interact with a ton of Ravens fans on a daily basis. I don't think I've seen a single Ravens fan that liked Harbaugh, especially the last 3 to 4 years. It felt like every year they were like, all right, we have the most talented roster in the NFL, just about from top to bottom. We have Lamar Jackson, a 2-time MVP. We have Derrick Henry. We have prime Mark Andrews. We have an elite defense. Like, surely this is the year we can finally win a couple playoff games. And he did win a couple playoff games, but never the ones that they actually needed to win. So it felt like that kind of all just came to a boiling point. I thought it was going to happen next year. I think I said that yesterday. I don't know if they're going to fire him yet. I think they'll wait a year, see if they can get another fully healthy year to just kind of go at it. But I definitely understand, there's no time to waste right now. All of your players are at the very end of their prime. It is now or never. You don't get one more year with what you already know hasn't worked since 2013. There's just not enough time.
Brock?
Toronto, Canada. Toronto, Canada.
Yes.
I got the.
Yes.
I added the
Close enough.
soundbite.
That
Close
works.
enough. I gotta trim it a little better, but
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a better way to react to this, because again, I don't know. I don't know if I wanted it or I felt like it had to happen this year, but I felt like if it was going to happen, it would have happened yesterday. I don't know what happened within between the missed kick to now that changed or whatever, or maybe they were just ensuring that, or talking to maybe they talked to Lamar Jackson. I think actually if you go back and listen to some of his post-game interview, I don't even know if he really even acknowledged him, and I swear there was a certain question, I can't remember what it was about or anything, about Harbaugh and all that, and like I don't know if he really like fully like acknowledged him or anything, but also Lamar even said in one of the answers to the questions during that time was he's still in shock of everything that happened during that game. So I can understand why he may have forgotten to or just didn't or whatever. But I mean, we've given them the label Doc Rivers, and he has been as consistent as Doc Rivers has been since he won his one championship with the Boston Celtics in 08, which is, it's okay. Like, he's not a terrible coach. It's just he's not as good as I feel like maybe the NFL world wanted to like give him more credit than he probably should have. I don't know. Maybe it's because, they're the Harbaugh brothers and all that. And, they faced each other in the Super Bowl that one year. But he's always just kind of been there, always been, he's like the equivalent really of similar to maybe Mike Tomlin, where he's just kind of like that one Super Bowl really helped him, established himself to be able to stay in Baltimore for a long time. And he's had some competitive years where he's competing for maybe a Super Bowl run. And then he's had some seasons like this year where they were barely outside of the playoffs, or they weren't even competing for a trip to the playoffs. So, I mean, by no means do I think his tenure there was a failure. Maybe the back end with, the new era and like personnel wise on the offense, it was more disappointing because I feel like he had more star power on the offense the last couple years than he did even in his Super Bowl run in terms of just overall every position. But he is not, as much as I give him the Doc Rivers comparison, again, that's not me saying Doc Rivers is a terrible coach. He got really lucky with the one Super Bowl that he had, and feel like time finally caught up with him and the Ravens organization realizing that maybe it was time to move on even before this season. But that's my thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about a guy in Harbaugh who's had, since his Super Bowl, which they won 4 playoff games in that Super Bowl run to win the whole thing, he has 4 playoff wins in total since 2012. Like, the playoff success has just not been there if you're a Ravens fan. A lot of one-and-dones, a lot of close playoff losses. I can remember the Cincinnati one from like 4 years ago where Huntley dove over the end zone and it was a fumble 99 yards the other way. Obviously, the AFC title game against the Chiefs 2 years ago, that one was within a possession. Last year, Mark Andrews dropping the 2-point conversion that would have ultimately tied the game. And then how his tenure ends in Baltimore is a Tyler Loop 44-yard missed kick, or along the lines of a 44-yard missed kick. But this tied for his second worst season in Baltimore. He's had multiple seasons where he has 8 wins. His worst season was 5-11 back in 2015. So not nearly as bad as his worst season. But I think Ravens fans were just tired of the lack of production with this team. Brock mentioned that this Ravens roster is always like super complete. That defense always has a bunch of really good playmakers on that side of the ball. Obviously, Lamar is a 2-time MVP winner. Derrick Henry, for being 31 or 32 years old, is still a top 5 to 6 running back on any given day. Zay Flowers finally emerged as a legitimate pass weapon for Lamar Jackson in that offense, but it just feels like they lost a lot of like head-scratching games this year, and they did start 1-5 this year. We need to recognize that, and we need to understand that yes, there were injuries at the beginning of the year, but there's some of these losses that are just like super head-scratching. You obviously choked that big game to Buffalo week 1, where you end up losing by 1 point. Then you lose to Detroit on Monday Night Football in week 3 to go pre-record to go to 1-2. Then you get trumped by the Texans by 34. and they were able to win some games, but then they have another like head scratching loss to Cincinnati, to Pittsburgh, New England, and then to Pittsburgh to close out the season. It just, this team didn't feel like they were ever like a dominant team, if that makes sense. Granted, we probably should be talking about how they could have won the division had Luke made that kick, and maybe we don't talk about Harbaugh getting fired. But this was never a great team, despite the amount of talent that was on this team. This team was just like, it would peak and then go down, and then it'd peak and then it'd go down. So I think Ravens fans and just the organization was just kind of fed up with all the effort and resources and money that they've spent on this roster just for it to end in either no playoffs or a one and done in the playoffs. But yeah, I'm super curious to see who the next head coach is, because there's a lot of good head coaches this cycle. We talked a lot about that last night, so I won't get into too much of it unless you guys want to talk about it. But I think
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
For those that are listening to the audio portion of the podcast, I found a meme on social media while we were recording where it's a photo of the kick that decided who went to the playoffs, the Steelers or the Ravens, and in between the two uprights is Tomlin getting fired, and on the outside of the field goal post is Harbaugh getting fired, which you can make an argument that this literally decided both coaches' fates really in this season in terms of their job security. I just thought it would be funny to bring that up.
that whole division, it felt like every single coach could lose their job this year.
I mentioned someone going to Atlanta. I almost wonder if a former Browns head coach might be moving over to Baltimore.
Whew.
I thought about that as well, as soon as I saw that. Stefanski to Baltimore would be very funny. But I think if you're Baltimore, I think your short list needs to be Clint Kubiak, probably number one.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, yeah, I mean, Stefanski's probably on the list. I don't know. It feels like you need to find more of an offensive-minded coach with a guy like Lamar. You need to find somebody that's like, all right, hey, you are one of the most talented NFL players to ever grace this earth. We need to find a way to make this work so that way we can win football games.
Yeah.
I have a theory. We don't see this happen too often in the NFL and just in sports general. This could be the one scenario where a coaching trade would make a lot of sense.
You are obsessed with coaching trades.
It's super cool.
He's already been fired. They don't exactly have a coach to trade.
No, but they can. No, not trading Harbaugh away.
What, sign and trade him?
No, like acquiring a head coach via trade.
If I remember right, the Celtics traded Doc Rivers for like cash or something, cash or like a pick. I can't remember what happened.
Sean Payton was traded from New Orleans to Denver for a first-round pick. I mean, it's not like the most unheard of thing in the world.
It's
like, you're telling me that if Baltimore called up like Minnesota and said, "Hey, we want Kevin O'Connell, we'll throw you a first-round pick this year," that Minnesota wouldn't at least like consider that. This just, for me, it's the rare scenario because this roster is ready to win. Like, this roster is really, really good. And yes, they have some weaknesses, but it feels like they nail the head coach and they nail a good offensive coordinator, not named Todd Monken. Like, this team could actually do something next year. So that's why it just feels like this could be the one exception where it might make sense for Baltimore to do that.
I can tell you that Robert Saleh probably won't be getting the Ravens head coaching job because it sounds like he's interviewing for the Arizona Cardinals job right now. Sure. Which also, you want to hear another one that I just saw? Looks like Jason Garrett's going to interview for the Titans job.
I saw that as well. Cam Ward is cooked.
Yeah.
Like
every head coaching interview I've seen for the Titans has just been like the worst possible option ever.
No, dude, they want Matt Nagy.
It's Matt Nagy. It's Spagnuolo. It's Jason Garrett. It's like Arthur Smith.
Is
like,
Raheem
they're trying
Morris?
To kill that man.
I think Raheem Morris is interviewing for the Titans job as well.
Probably. They are trying to make sure Cam Ward has like the worst career ever.
Yeah. We won't.
Okay, last thing.
Yeah.
Do you think Harbaugh's a head coach somewhere next year?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
He didn't meet the Ravens standards for what they needed to be right now, but there are a lot of other teams in the NFL looking at pretty much everybody else that lost their job or that fired their head coach. They all could very much.
Yeah.
An 8-9 season would be like a blessing.
Right. I don't disagree. We're not going to talk too much more about coaches just because we did a long episode that has already been released since recording this one. So we're going to dive into NFL wildcard weekend, which 6 games, all 6 games have like some cool storyline that gives us something to look forward to. We're going to go in order of how the games are listed. The first game this weekend is between the Los Angeles Rams and the Carolina Panthers. It is the opening wildcard game at 3:30 on Saturday. I know we're not like
it's a frisky way to start.
Yeah. The spread, which is good an indicator of like how the public views the game. The Rams are 10-point favorites entering this game. I want to get your guys' thoughts on this game. Who do you guys have coming out on top? And do you guys think the Panthers have a chance?
I mean, I didn't think they had a chance in the regular season and they won. So I do think the Rams should win this game, but you can't count out the frisky Panthers. That's all I'll say.
ESPN shows they're like the leader in stats for each major offensive category in the matchup on their scores page. The Rams have the top passer, rusher, and receiver. So all things point towards the Rams, but obviously, the Panthers somehow clawed their way into the playoffs. And if you're wanting to go, it is the cheapest NFL wildcard ticket to go right now this weekend, which
I bet it is. There's probably a lot of other things happening in Los Angeles than people probably want than to watch Rams Panthers, with all due respect.
It's not in LA, it's in Carolina.
It is in Carolina. Okay, well,
even more reason.
Even worse.
Like
even better.
They want to go watch. Maybe LaMelo Ball's playing that weekend. Who knows? In Charlotte, but
they can never fill that stadium. That doesn't surprise me.
They don't deserve a franchise. I'm sorry.
They're probably afraid of getting a drink thrown at them by David Tepper again, if I had to guess.
That's a good point. I'm going Rams in this game. Sorry.
Yeah. I was going to say, we all have Rams? As much as I want to keep the Panthers.
I know what you're doing here. I know what you're doing picking the Rams.
I'll pick the Panthers then.
No.
I don't care.
No, stick with it.
I'm Panthers.
I see what you're doing.
No, I'm very okay with this because either I'm right or the Rams lost to the Panthers in the first round. I really can't lose.
That's what I'm saying. Stick with the Rams.
No, I want the Panthers now.
I legitimately want to buy you a Panthers jersey just to say that I bought a Panthers jersey.
I sent a message to Braden. There is a bet out there. If you are a confident man like myself and think the Panthers might win the Super Bowl, plus 20,000, $5 pays $1,000. Bryce Young is also plus 20,000 to win Super Bowl MVP, FYI.
So you're going Rams?
Probably.
Okay,
I'll send you when we send out our graphics. When we
said.
do our graphics for social media, you'll know what I'm leaning, but I'm torn right now because I either commit to the bit or I use
your brain.
Yeah, I use my brain. But that is the opening wild card game on Saturday. There's another game on Saturday. Also, I want to say this really quick. The fact that you have to have Prime Video to watch the second game, and the second game could be like the most entertaining one of the entire weekend.
I think it is
pretty
the most
dumb.
anticipated one.
Yeah,
maybe you have to pay for an extra streaming service to watch a playoff game is
it's ridiculous.
You guys don't want to listen to Kurt Herbstreit talking about NFL football. I'm assuming he's the one that's on the call for this, right?
Yeah, it's probably him and Michaels. Al
At
Michaels.
2026, Al Michaels on a playoff game. Good
Yeah.
Lord.
Of course, I am referring to Packers Bears on Saturday at 7:00. Interesting enough, despite the Bears having the better record and having this game be at home, the Bears are underdogs in this game. They are 1.5-point underdogs. What are you guys' thoughts on this game, and who do you guys think ends up coming out on top?
Vegas is hedging just based solely off of previous Bears playoff appearances.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, both home teams won in the regular season by, I think, like a point each. I think maybe the Packers won by 1 or 2 and the Bears won by 1. Like, it really is anybody's game. It all comes down to, I think, that home field advantage is really going to swing it for the Bears. As much as I don't want to bet on the Bears in the playoffs, I guess I have Chicago taking this one. And this does ruin my preseason Super Bowl prediction, which is the only one that's still alive right now. But also I have to use my head here a little bit.
And Love is like active, like 100%, right? He sat last week, right?
If he's not in a coma, he's playing. It's the
Okay.
play.
I was gonna say if Vegas is telling you the Packers are a 1.5 favorite, I would assume that means Jordan Love is playing.
I would assume that doesn't mean
Malik
Malik
Willis.
Willis football. Even though he is probably getting $1 billion this offseason, he's probably not playing in the playoffs.
So I wanted to go with the Bears as someone that took Caleb Williams after in my fantasy league after everyone else took their second quarterback, and then I proceeded
As somebody that hates the Packers,
as someone that
maybe.
hates the Packers, like all that stuff. We got to remember the Bears had to do the unbelievable and the unthinkable to win that second game in Chicago, and it's their first year in the playoffs. I actually am anticipating some sort of, whether it's a blowout completely or the Bears bear down and just do what they do best and be the Bears in the playoffs and find a way to lose something close. I'm going to go with the Packers in this one. I just think that they will be able to make the plays that matter the most. And I mean, again, the Bears had to recover an onside kick to just tie to go into overtime against the Packers in Chicago a couple weeks ago. So I'm going to go with the Packers in this one.
I like Chicago in this one. And I couldn't tell you why, other than the fact that I think Chicago's due for like a good playoff moment. Like, it's been so long since they've had like something memorable going in their favor for the playoffs. Like, when's the last like cool playoff Bears moment you can honestly think of, other than Devin Hester returning the kick return on the first play of the Super Bowl like 20 years ago? That's the only one in my head that just immediately pops.
Them winning the game to go to the Super Bowl that resulted in Devin Hester returning that opening kickoff would probably
True.
be the next. But like, I don't even remember that game. I couldn't tell you the score or anything.
Yeah. But like, they've had so many heartbreaking losses. Obviously the double doink against the Eagles is one to remember. There was like a wild card game of Bears Packers where Packers scored a touchdown with like 40 seconds left. I think a long time ago. This is when Rodgers was like first there. I think they lost to the Packers in the 2010 NFC title game, as my Bears friends that will remind me of. But I just think they're due. And that's the only logic I'm going to use here. I just think they're due.
If teams or people that are fans of teams get things based off of being due and having to sit through certain things, man, whenever the Cardinals get a good football team, I have some receipts that I'm going to be
if
cashing
being
in.
due was a thing, the last decade of my life would have been a lot happier.
Exactly. If I know like we're talking about specific teams or whatever, but like after the month that I just went through as a football fan, not just as a pro football, but as a college football fan, if we go off of things that are due, man, this next fall, y'all better watch out because I'm going to be insufferable. Even though I am, even when we're terrible, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, don't get me wrong. This is with you, similar to you with the Rams and Panthers game. I'm going just off of what I feel, not necessarily like what I want. I I would rather see the Bears win 1,000 times.
Yeah. That probably, I don't want to jinx it, but that could be the closest game all weekend. And not based on seeding, but just like this game could be 14-13 with the field goal on the line. Like that's how I could see this game coming down to. But moving in. Oh, sorry.
I like looking at ticket like just what they have for tickets or whatever. It looks like on ESPN they have it listed 319 is the cheapest ticket you can get in Chicago. The most expensive ticket of any game by $108. So
Jeez,
And that's just get-in price is $300.
Yeah.
Dang.
Bears fans have been.
I was gonna say when's the last time the probably the last Bears home playoff game was probably double doink, right?
17,
18?
Like,
18?
Yeah.
I don't know
like
if they
that.
were expecting a Super Bowl I feel like Bears fans legitimately do think this year they could make a run. And really, with how this NFL season has went, there's no reason to say that they're crazy.
Honestly, they're on either side. There are only like two teams that are like, all right, they're probably not making a playoff run. Everybody else is like, I could see it.
Yeah,
we'll get into the frisky meter, and I'll tell you what my opinions on certain teams and making run to the Super Bowl. But our third game of the weekend is Bills Jaguars. Expect a lot of points in this one. Both offenses are pretty unreal. Quarterbacks are playing at a super high level right now. The Jacksonville Jaguars the Bills are the favorites in this game, despite this game being in Jacksonville. ESPN, the matchup predictor thingy, the circle, it's basically 50-50 who they have winning this game. Who do you guys have win this game?
I just completely blanked out. The Bills. Who are the Bills playing?
The Jags.
The Jags.
Jaguars.
I think I have a lot less questions about the Jags right now than I do the Bills. I mean, I don't know. This Bills team just feels icky right now. And the Jags really seem like they're starting to pick it back up right at the perfect time. I do think Jacksonville's going to win this one. Not like most of the time in the playoffs, as you look at home field advantage, I wouldn't say Jacksonville is necessarily like a crazy home field advantage, but just I don't know. I just believe in this team more. I think this offense with Jacoby Myers has really improved. The defense kind of slumped there for a second. They've picked it back up. But yeah, I give me the Jags in this one. Just completely decimate my Super Bowl prediction.
Duval.
The Jaguars low key, like when they're good, they have an underrated fan base. I mean, we've seen like little spurts of it this season through big games. The Chiefs Jaguars game was one of the more entertaining and energetic like finishes to a football game. That fan base was loud during that game. Shout out Dawson for calling out this head coaching hire being a great pickup for Jacksonville.
Good check mark for Dawson next to the 1,000 bad takes I've had on this podcast.
Yeah,
we get your points where we can get them.
What Cohen has done for Jacksonville this season, I'm not saying I wouldn't have ever seen it coming. He definitely came off as a very cringy guy with some of, as we've been playing the Duval meme over and over again this season whenever we're talking about them. But like, it's so cool to see what he's been able to do in his first year. Even after losing the Heisman winner to an injury, not really that far into the season for them. And yet they still won the division, won 13 games, and they've only lost 2 games at home this year. So they do have somewhat of a like presence on the home field. With all that being said, though, I think I am going to go with a little bit more of the experience between the quarterback and the coach. Matchup wise, and I think I'm going to go with the Bills to sneak out with a close victory in this one. I feel like Josh Allen will literally he will throw the ball to himself if he needs to be able to at least compete for another weekend. And I feel like at some point he's going to make a play that, maybe we're talking about for years to come, depending on how their season finishes. But give me the Bills to win this one. But ladies and gentlemen, the Jaguars are coming though. That they will be competitors for years to come. And it's kind of scary to think about because we were talking about whether or not Trevor Lawrence is kind of like, if he's ever going to reach that expectation that some people set for him, and he's getting close. He drastic improvements from 2 years ago when Dawson and I picked him as our MVP sleepers, and he proceeded to play like crap. So, but give me the Bills in this one. I do think it'll be a close game.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dawson's ideal Super Bowl since Kansas City's not in it would be Jacksonville versus Carolina. I just want to put that out there.
Oh,
that would just be funny. That would just be Dawson's
Gross,
teams right there.
That's disgusting, dude. I thought I was a sicko.
Trevor Lawrence has played 2 playoff games. You take away his first half against the Chargers where he threw 4 picks. He has 5 touchdowns and 1 interception. The issue is that first half against the Chargers was so flipping bad. They were down 27-3. Like we need to remember that. Like it took a very heroic. They did win. The comeback was good.
Oh, they did.
But
it took the Chargers doing the ultimate Chargers funny moment.
Yeah, I mean, that's all I need to say on that. I do, however, still like Jacksonville. I just think this team has less holes than Buffalo. It just feels like Buffalo, when they don't get the run game going, they're just not good on offense, like whatsoever. They can't really get after the pass, or like they can't really get after the quarterback. And Trevor Lawrence has played like the best quarterback in the league the last like 6 weeks. Like his stats are unreal, the way he closed out the year. So I like Jacksonville in this one to beat Buffalo. Now we get into Braden's team. Sorry.
This is just a little teaser that I want to have for a future episode about maybe coaches we need to start looking at as whether or not they should be considered on the hot seat or not. Let's say the Bills lose by 2 possessions, 10 plus. Do people start looking at McDermott differently? Because I feel like this is every year it's been, well, the Chiefs and Ravens have been in contention, or like there's always been like something of why the Bills haven't been able to like compete. I know that like expectations change as the year goes on, but like in terms of who was expected to maybe come out of the AFC this year, they're the only one left from maybe the teams that people were picking. So again, I know things change as the season goes from preseason. Like you can't take preseason predictions like as word for word, like they're going to happen. Like, oh my gosh. Like, because 3 of the 4 teams maybe from the AFC that were expected to make a run at the Super Bowl, 3 of them aren't even in it, the playoffs. One of them just fired their coach. So I didn't know if you guys think that maybe this might be a similar deal with Harbaugh, where McDermott might be looked at differently. I don't think he'd get fired for this game, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough because, man, I don't know. That's an odd
I don't think he's done it's weird because I don't think he's done a terrible job whatsoever. That's just football. It's hard to win the Super Bowl, but like the one person that always gets the worst credit in terms of when things are going bad, it's the head coach. The head coach always is the one that goes first.
Well, and a lot of like the big game losses for the Bills have been just flat out on the shoulders of Sean McDermott.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of like clock management, play calling, whatever it is.
Yep.
A lot of that falls squarely on the head coach's shoulders, and that's a lot of the reasons why the Bills have been losing when they've been losing. So, again, I'm going to say kind of the same thing with Harbaugh, where it's like, if the Ravens didn't make the playoffs, I think you could start having these conversations, but I didn't think it was going to happen yet. Same thing with McDermott. If they get blown out here against a team that at least preseason was very clearly below them talent-wise, just gets out-coached, I don't think he gets fired, but I think it starts a conversation to where next year, if he doesn't win at least a couple playoff games, make it to the AFC Championship game, there's a real chance we see a different coach in Buffalo in 2027.
Worst case scenario for them, I actually think more than getting blown out is if they take a lead again late with like less than a minute 30 and Jacksonville finds a way to go down the field and score again.
Yeah.
Because once you get that label of you can't manage clock every time it happens.
If you get blatantly outcoached by a year one head coach, I think that's just like all right, man. As a guy that's been doing it for, I mean, I don't know exactly how long McDermott's been the head coach, but a good while.
2017?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Sounds
I mean,
right.
coming on a decade
Yeah.
of head coaching experience, and you're getting schooled in clock management by a year one guy. I almost agree. I think if he gets 13 seconded again, they might not even wait.
I don't disagree. That will be more of an off season or maybe a next week take if we continue that one. But now we're gonna get into Braden's team playing the Philadelphia Eagles. This is the 3:30 slot. Niners versus Eagles. Obviously, Philly is a 4.5 point favorite. Niners on the road. Braden, since you are a Niners fan, I'm gonna have you go second. Brock, who do you like in this one and why?
Hate Philadelphia, dude. Like, I cannot stand any of their teams. That city is just bleh. If the Eagles, because this is what I'm worried about. I really feel like the Eagles' offense has been underwhelming all season long, and I'm worried that this is going to be the game that they, for some reason, figure it out. However, I morally can't go against the only team that's left in my Super Bowl prediction, and actually the team that I picked to win the Super Bowl. And that's why I didn't want to say that last week, because I'm worried that me saying it now, definitely not superstitious or anything, is going to ruin it all. But I am going to go with the 49ers to find a way to fight. But God, if the Eagles for some reason figure out their offense this game, I don't know if there really is a competition, because it doesn't matter if it's passing or running, obviously, anymore, because it used to just be the passing game scared me if a team could pass against the 49ers defense. And then the Seahawks proved last week that you can find a way to run too. So, but I feel like the 49ers were on this amazing high that anytime Purdy goes on a 3-4 plus game winning streak, he usually gets, and then they get punched in the face. And then that's when they usually regroup and come back. So I anticipate that the 49ers are coming into this game looking to not only seek revenge for the last one of the last few times they were in the playoffs where they matched up with the Eagles, but also just to prove to the NFL that they are still legitimate contenders, even with all the injuries. And obviously now their defensive coordinator taking phone calls from other teams as well about being a head coach. So give me the 49ers, but I do think this one, as well as the other ones that we've already talked about, will be a close one as well.
Yeah, Eagles offense versus 49er defense is stoppable force versus movable object. Their defense has been just flat out bad for a lot of the year. They looked decent last week, but they got shelled on the ground. Eagles offense has looked terrible all year. I really don't know. This could truly go either way. It's in a tough environment. For the life of me, even for the sake of the pessimistic bit, I simply cannot say that the Eagles are going to win this game. I just can't do that to myself. I'll give me the Niners, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't like it, but I'm going to do it.
You can't do that with Frank Gore in the background, man.
I can't disrespect the GOAT like that.
Now, Dawson, don't do it.
Do what?
Don't.
What
do
are you
the three.
implying?
Don't do the three. Don't jinx us.
Dude, this is a lose-lose, dude. I could care less for either of these teams, but just for the sake of Braden being happy, I guess I'll go Eagles in this one. So it's not the clean sweep graphic.
Okay.
That means the Niners are locked in for sure to win this game. But no,
He
Philly's
just-
offense is just, it's not great. And I hate that I'm propping up Philly right now. This is disgusting. But their defense is good. But I mean, their offense, gosh, the Niners defense, like Braden said, both are playing like bad right now. So it's kind of tough, but I could see gosh darn it, I hate both of this, dude. I'm gonna stick
You're
with
gonna
the
hate
Eagles.
watch.
I am gonna hate watch. What's that? It's 3:30. I'll get off at work at 4 and immediately start the hate watch then. But I guess for Braden's sake, I'll take the Eagles, so we don't have the jinx.
I'll say one good thing about the Eagles. Cooper DeJean, he knows professional wrestling. He knows ball.
Lord.
Wow.
What? He did the John Cena celebration in the end zone. I don't know what you
Yeah.
guys were talking about.
Yeah, sure,
Weird.
bud.
Yeah, man.
All right, moving into game number 5, the last game on Sunday. We have the number 2 seeded Patriots playing the number 7 seeded Los Angeles Chargers. Patriots are 3.5-point favorites entering this one. Guys, who are you picking?
Let's see. Do we go with the inexperienced roster that was at the number 4 pick last year? Or do we go with the notorious cannot have anything nice Los Angeles Chargers?
Yep.
I feel like both of these teams very easily could lose this game. I think it just is in the Chargers' blood to lose, though. So give me New England for that reason and that reason alone.
Patriots.
Yeah, we're not going to spend much time on this one. I think we all agree New England's going to pull this one out, which would mean that the Chargers are going to win, and we are going to be sad because no more Drake May. But
Oh no. The
Hey.
Patriots get eliminated.
hey, I like
Yeah,
Drake May.
Drake
He's
May
stud.
lover on Twitter is going to be pissed about this one.
Yeah. And then moving into the final wild card game, the Monday night game, we have Houston going on the road to Pittsburgh. Currently, Houston is a 3-point favorite against Pittsburgh. Guys, who are we picking?
Under.
Yeah. The under is the objective.
The under
winner.
is winning.
Well,
Give
what
me
do you think
Houston.
the over-under is? It's the question.
30 and a half.
It's
high.
gotta be a Brian Ferentz era type over under. We're talking
I'm taking
38.
the Texans, though. That's
39.5. Brian
Okay.
Ferentz was lower.
Okay.
Brian
so-
Ferentz, I think there was an Iowa-Minnesota game 3 years
Oh,
ago.
39 and a half for an NFL game over under feels crazy.
The Chiefs Raiders on Sunday was like 32.5 for context.
I mean, let's be honest. That should shock no
Yeah.
one.
You didn't wanna watch Shane
that makes
Buechele?
sense.
versus Kenny Pickett and Aiden O'Connell.
This one's interesting because we're going. It's a young offense versus an old offense, and one defense that's playing unbelievable right now in the last couple weeks, and another one that has names, but sometimes hasn't been always consistent. So, if the holy water strikes again, the Steelers are going to win. So just give me the Pittsburgh to pull off this miracle again, and everybody's going to be talking can Aaron Rodgers force this team to a run, and then they get blown out the next week?
Braden?
Yeah, give me the Texans. I don't want to talk about this game any more than I absolutely have to.
Yeah. We're talking about the hottest team in the NFL right now versus the most lukewarm team in the NFL right now in the Pittsburgh Steelers. Give me the Texans. I know that Stroud and the offense
Dawson,
looks
look at your
questionable.
hat. A lot of lukewarm teams are good
Yeah.
when it matters most.
Yes. I forgot I was wearing this hat. But yeah, give me the Texans in this one. I just think the Steelers, they were already going to Cancun last week. If it was for Tyler Lute missing that. So
I hate that this is the last game of the wild card weekend.
yeah. I think
Like,
Jags Bills should have been the last one for sure.
That's what I'm saying. Like, your top 3 games, I think, are Packers, Bears, 49ers, Eagles, Bills, Jaguars, probably in that order.
Yeah.
Why don't you have the Bears and Packers? I maybe they already have like the playoff schedule time-wise planned out, but like I'm ending Monday night primetime Bears Packers.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know how the structure works if they already have the times already decided on that, but that's my thoughts.
Okay, I need to take a second. I planned on a food delivery getting here for us finishing on time. I gotta go.
Sorry about that.
Well, I guess I'll stall until Braden gets back.
And I can mention this when he gets back. I just saw a tweet. So this was posted at 5:17, so shortly after we started recording. John Harbaugh, 45 minutes after getting fired, has been contacted by 7 NFL teams already.
Yep, I've seen this. Wow.
But did you read the bottom part of it?
No, I didn't.
There are only 7 teams have contacted him. There are 7 openings, including
the
Baltimore.
Ravens.
So, who's in the playoffs right now? Because that would be
who's reached out and wants him as a coordinator?
I don't think he'd be a
That would be the only other.
it was an Iowa podcast, which is so weird, like an Iowa sports, not Hawkeyes related, just Iowa in general podcast. Someone mentioned that, like, I guess the Packers might try to backdoor their head coach this year, depending on how this goes. Out of nowhere,
would be a fan.
I have not seen a single post about it outside of this random comment
Here we go.
during the show. Braden, I was just talking about this John Harbaugh situation, and then this can be the last thing that we talk about for this episode. 45 minutes after he got fired, he's been contacted by 7 teams already about a position. There are 7 openings, including Baltimore right now.
What do they realize? Like, oh, wait, hold on. We didn't mean to press that button. Wait, please come back.
But that's why I'm saying, who's not...
What, did the Dolphins offer him the GM role?
So part of me instantly went to who's in the playoffs right now that for some reason, if something goes wrong, they would just fire their coach.
No shot. Are you suggesting that Mike Tomlin very easily could be
No,
different coach.
No. So this comes after I watched a Iowa Everywhere podcast where Chris Williams, who follows the Minnesota Vikings, this has nothing to do with the Vikings, but he follows the NFC North pretty closely. He suggested somewhere out of nowhere that, like, I guess Packer fans, or there's rumors that, like, they might try to backdoor the coach if they lose against the Bears. In a situation though that does happen, isn't that almost like a perfect scenario for him? Because, like,
I mean that would easily be the best landing spot.
Because you got a defense, you will have a defense. It's almost like this generation's version of what, like, his Ravens team that era may have looked like. You had a iffy offense and then a defense that would probably carry you most of the way.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a crazy...
I'm not saying that that's where he's going, but, like, the fact that there's 7 teams calling him and only 6 teams are open, not named Baltimore, I think that's interesting.
If they backdoor Matt LaFleur, that would be something, all right.
Very funny moment.
That part of me instantly just goes, who has the best defenses? Because I feel like as long as I don't know why I feel like he has, which is weird because he has lived off of that. And it's shown that when he has good offenses, it's not always like the best thing. I don't know.
One last thing to close out this episode. We are putting out the meter of success, or I call the frisky meter. These are the teams that will do well in the playoffs. Red, meaning, according to me, these are according to my theories and my suspicions. If you are in the red, you could maybe win a game but you are not doing anything else after, and you are just a stinky team. And this is coming as someone who picked the Packers to make the Super Bowl. If you are in the orange, you could get to the Super Bowl, but you have major issues where it's like you have like one severe flaw that could hinder you in making a deep playoff run. Or if you get bounced in round one, it wouldn't be the shocker. I guess Niners, Eagles, one of those teams would have to win, even though they're the same color. But that is the orange tier. If you're in the yellow tier, this is a team that could win a Super Bowl, in my opinion. Like, they could win the Super Bowl, wouldn't be entirely shocked, but I don't quite trust them. In the case of the Jags and the Texans, it's the inexperience. In the case of the Rams, the Rams like to play down to the competition sometimes. Like, they're a head scratcher. With Denver, I'm not completely sold on them, so they're in the yellow tier, even though they won 14 games. If you're in the green tier and you're not named the Carolina Panthers, you're at Seattle or New England, you are the Super Bowl favorites. The Panthers get in the green tier because they're the entire reason that this meter exists.
The main idea behind the Frisky meter was supposed to be just a Carolina Panthers. Like, it essentially was supposed to be a ripoff of the Joe Flacco, like, elite-o-meter.
Yes.
If you're familiar, where he would either play like a top 5 quarterback or a bottom 30.
Does the position of where they're at, like, inside? No. Okay. I was like,
no.
You really
Although it does kind of look like that. No.
You really got the Bears. You got the Panthers in front of the Seahawks in the elite.
No.
Meter.
I do like that the arrow was pointing directly at the Panthers logo.
That was intentional. That was intentional. But no, and I'm going to be doing this every single week for the playoffs. And obviously, if your team gets eliminated, you will get off the meter.
I'm gonna have to get you,
except if you're the Panthers. The Panthers have a perma spot in the green tier.
I feel like the Panthers just are the. I think they just are the arrow.
They are. I should put them in the middle if they lose. Like, they are just the arrow.
If they lose, you put, like, instead of like the circle, just put the Panthers logo there. I think that's how we have to pay homage.
But do you guys agree with this for the most part? And then we'll kind of wrap this up. Like, is there one team that you're like, I have either way too low or have way too high?
Not necessarily. I mean, I feel like that plays pretty well in line with how our top 5s have been pretty much all year. Especially like the last couple of weeks is like, about Seahawks, Patriots on top. And then like 3, 4, 5 is somewhere between like Broncos, Jags, Rams, Texans. And then the rest of the teams kind of just fall in line with their. Yeah, I think this is about. If I were to make one, this is what it would be.
If I know I've been putting them in my top 5, but that's just based off of how the defense has been playing the last couple of weeks and how they've been able to find ways to win games. I think the Texans might be a smidge high, but like looking at the teams that are in the tier right below them, I think that they would be able to compete against those teams as well. So it's just that as long as their offense shows up, they're perfect where they are in the yellow tier of your Frisky meter. But like, I don't know. I can't. And this is coming from someone that would love to see the Texans offense put up 50 points a game, because that most likely means at least one Iowa State guy is scoring a game. But I don't know. Their offense is always just hit or miss.
Also, if we're doing this actually, the Panthers would obviously not be in the green tier. They'd probably be in the red tier. And I would probably move either the Rams or the Broncos into that green tier if we're going to keep the numbers the same as what they were. But the Panthers will always have a spot in the green tier in my heart. But that is just something I decided to throw up because we've been making memes about this the entire season, about the Frisky meter. But anything else for you guys this episode before we wrap up and get to watch a great weekend of NFL playoff football?
We'll see if I get to watch the games. I'll probably be watching them on like record, because I'm not going to be home. I'm going to be in the Gulf Shores for the weekend, which hopefully it doesn't rain as much as it says it's going to. But we'll make do with that at least. And of course, you know, the game that I want to watch is the game that is on Prime. But yeah, we'll find a way. We are Gulf Shores is right by the ocean, so maybe we have to sail.
Brock, you're the closest to Jacksonville out of all of us that
How
weekend.
far of a drive is that?
You can just go to the game.
Okay, I know that we're way over this. I'm like actually curious.
This will be the last thing, and then we'll wrap up this episode. But Braden,
Dang,
while
it's
he's looking
still-
that up,
It's still 5 hours.
that's
I know it's
that's
6
doable.
hours.
That's doable.
It's doable if you're not a coward.
Yeah, that's true. Tampa Bay's longer. I was gonna say if Tampa Bay's closer, I'm gonna be even more pissed that the Panthers are in the playoffs. But
Hey, we're Panthers supporters on this podcast.
are the Texans? Oh no, the Texans are on the road. Damn.
Yeah.
I did not have any final thoughts. If that's what you were going to ask me,
Okay.
just enjoy playoff football. This is what
Yes.
we grind through the gross Thursday night games to get to.
Yes.
So just sit back. Don't make any plans on Saturday, Sunday. Have yourself just enjoy what we got until we don't have it anymore.
Don't forget about that unbelievable Monday game. You know, it's gonna be an amazing game between the Texans and the Steelers.
Yeah. All right. I did not need that sound.
Of the playoffs. It's not actually on Thursday, but that just is the vibe.
Yeah. Fellas, great episode. Be sure to watch all 6 games. 2 CFP games too. We're down to the last 4 teams in the CFP. Brock's
I
waving his hand.
I didn't know that game was still going. That was still going on.
Yeah, I think one of the games is
It's
Thursday
Ole
night.
Miss,
One of the games is
Miami,
Friday.
and who's the what's
Oregon,
the other one?
Indiana.
Oregon, Indiana. Right.
Give me Oregon. Like what I want. Give me Oregon and Miami.
I think it's going to be Indiana, Miami, and I think Indiana's going to get it.
Yeah, I probably would.
God forbid if
also
Miami
agree.
wins. Michael Irvin will not allow us to hear the end of it.
Michael Irvin might just explode on the spot.
Yeah.
You see what he's doing on the sidelines? He might actually just have a heart attack.
I am well aware what he's doing on the
He
sideline.
is 60 years old. He has no business doing all that.
That dude is. He would be the frisky meter. It's like if we did a college football one, it'd be Michael Irvin by himself. That dude is
Michael Irvin would be his own logo.
But like I give him credit. He's having a blast. Honestly, it makes the college football playoff games a little more entertaining, really, because some of them have been kind of meh this year.
Yep. I don't disagree. But be sure, everyone, to watch those 8 fantastic football games that we have this weekend, because we're going to blink and we're not going to have any more football for a long time, and we're going to be sad. So be sure to watch those games. Be sure to listen to our previous episode where we react to all the coaching fires and the coaching carousel that took place in the NFL. I don't know what I was going to say. But enjoy all the games this weekend. For Brock Beamer, for Braden Bankin, I'm Dawson Livingston. We are signing off here on the 515 Podcast Network and the Between the Hashes podcast.